Hello, and welcome to today's Music Musings. I'm your host, John. Today, we will be discussing the structure of music, or, as some of you may have heard it called, musical form. This refers to the order and relationship between the content in a song or a piece of music. We will take a look at some current and historical trends, tendencies, and common practices. And we will discover if Mozart was really a pop artist. Let's get started! So, what exactly is musical form? Simply put, it is the structure of any song or piece of music. When you find new music on Spotify, Apple Music, or turn on the radio today, you might expect a song to have a few different sections. These sections are almost always marked by different musical material, whether it's a change in the instruments and voices you hear, the melody, the lyrics, or the harmonies used. If you listen closely, you might start to notice some similarities between the structures in these songs. These sections are often organized very purposefully by the composers and songwriters. You might be surprised to learn that composers and songwriters have made these stylistic choices for hundreds of years. When you hear a popular song today, it is very likely to be in the verse-chorus form. Songs by superstars like Michael Jackson and Taylor Swift regularly fall into this form. The verse-chorus form has three main parts: the verse, an introductory, less catchy section mostly interesting by its lyrical content; the chorus, the primary melody, often with a repetitive, catchy melody to hook listeners; and the bridge. The bridge is a unique section, often sounding quite different than either the verse or the chorus. The material found in each section is almost always different, but it all relates to the other sections. The best songs make these relationships seamless. Putting these parts back together, we can create the verse-chorus form. The verse-chorus form is the pattern verse, then chorus, then another verse, then another chorus, the bridge, and then finally another chorus. Or, if we use letters, A, B, C, B. It's time for our musical word of the week. Our word this week is development. As you hear different sections repeated, you might notice some changes. A new instrument is playing, another voice harmonizing with the primary melody, or something like a key change. These are all examples of what is considered development. Simply put, it's a growth of ideas throughout the course of a piece of music. Development is key in making music interesting. Slight, just noticeable changes that alter the music as it goes on, turning dull repetition into interesting new content. Now you might be wondering, who invented the verse-chorus form, and why is it so widespread and popular? The answer isn't quite so simple. This form has evolved out of hundreds of years of musical practices and traditions. Going back to the 1700s, we saw the emergence of a musical form called sonata. It's likely that you've heard this word before, but what does it mean exactly? It's a traditional European music form dating back to the 18th century, drawing inspiration from religious music written centuries prior. Composers like Mozart and Beethoven were experts in command of this form, each writing dozens of pieces in sonata form. Much like the presently popular verse-chorus form, sonata form is made of three central sections: the exposition, the development, and the coda. The exposition is made up of simple melodic material. It traditionally contains two different themes. Normally, the whole exposition is repeated, so you hear the same material twice. Then comes the development. This section is aptly named. The themes from the exposition are now developed or varied. It may be a rhythmic, melodic, or harmonic variation, or all three. The themes often remain somewhat recognizable, but sometimes completely new material is introduced. Traditionally, the key changes in the development section. The third and final section is the coda. A coda, in any form, is the final passage of music and is the ending to the piece or movement. After the conclusion of the development, the coda restates the main themes from the exposition and then adds new material to make it into more of a conclusion. If the key changed during the development, the coda returns the key to the one at the beginning of the piece. To put these sections into letters, it would be A, B, A, B, C, A, D. The sonata form remained popular for hundreds of years. Many people still study it today. But through the few centuries of change, sonata form morphed, eventually leading to the recognizable verse-chorus form we discussed earlier. In fact, you can see some similarities between the two. The first two themes in the exposition of the sonata form, repeated A, B, are much like the first four sections of the verse-chorus theme, V, C, or A, B. Then, the development is new or varied material. This section is much like the bridge. Finally, a return of familiar material occurs through the coda in the sonata form and through the final chorus in the verse-chorus form. Now, onto our final question. Was Mozart a pop artist? Mozart's frequent use of sonata form makes him akin to pop songwriters of today. In his time, the music he wrote was very popular, and he used a similar formulaic approach as many artists of today. In these ways, he could be considered a pop artist, much like Bruno Mars, or groups like Maroon 5. However, many of his compositions go far and beyond the complexity of the simple sonata form. This is what sets him apart, and this is why he is more than just a pop artist. He contributed oodles to music. This is what sets him apart, and why he is more than just a pop artist. The new musical material, techniques, and extension beyond the music at the time make him so relevant as an historical music figure and still known today, some 300 years later. Before we finish, I would like to take a minute to thank Classicals.de, a public domain, free classical music website providing some of the music today. Also, thanks to Fessli and Music. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you learned something. My name is John, and this is today's Music Musings.